5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hello, everybody. I'm Alex. This is the Ramble, and we go until midnight Eastern Daylight Time. Ladies and gentlemen, out to the other coast of the United States, the one that's more infected than we are now. It's Larry Bubbles Brown, the music of Larry Bubbles Brown. Hello, Larry.
Are we more infected?
I think so. I think you're on the rise, actually.
Oh, okay.
You opened up too fast, or something like that. So.
I hadn't heard that. That's good to know.
Yeah, it's I mean, you're not doing terribly, but not like some other states. Here in New York, we have so bent the curve that yesterday in New York City, there were 3 deaths due to coronavirus.
Wow.
And that may be questionable as to whether that's realistic or not, because sometimes they attribute something to coronavirus, but the comorbidity might have been heart problems, And
they get more money if they say the person died of corona. The feds give them more money.
Yeah, or whatever. But anyway, it was amazing. I mean, it just went down. We not only reversed the curve, we bent it. I mean, literally, the people in the state of New York just stayed indoors and they did their thing and they wore their masks, and now we're at a point where you can't really say it's a rampant disease. So it's amazing. But in other states, the rest of the country's gone up. So apparently we did something right here,
But when do we get back to normal?
I would say not in your lifetime.
Yeah.
I mean,
that could be tomorrow.
Normal. Well, I mean, what's the new normal? I mean, if I asked you, when do we get back to normal on air travel? That means that when are we going to get back to where you don't have TSA patting you down every time you get on an airplane? I don't think we're ever going to see that.
Yeah, and how can you keep those TSA lines? How can you keep 6 feet apart? But you'll be out in the parking lot.
Well, but people aren't flying airplanes as much right now. Would you get on? Well, you wouldn't get on an airplane anyway.
No, I actually would. So for some reason, this virus didn't frighten me, unlike others.
Really, you would get on an airplane?
I would, yeah.
Really? I don't think I would take the chance yet. Mainly because the people on airplanes are a far wider swath. I'm beginning to wonder if maybe I shouldn't go on the subways here, because they have so cleaned them that they're totally disinfected, and then every day they wash them down with a microbial antimicrobial substance that adheres to the seats, and those subways cars are cleaner than they've ever been, which is not saying much because they used to be filthy. But anyway, so I think I might try the subway soon. Okay, with a mask, with gloves. I'm not taking any chances, but it looks like it might be okay. Anyway, that's that's what we're looking at here. It's much better. It's just much better. Okay.
This might kill stand-up comedy. I don't know.
There'll be a new normal for that too. What you'll be doing is you'll be working clubs that have smaller seating. You will, I guess everybody in the club will be required to wear a mask except when they're sipping on a drink. There'll be some there'll be some attempt at putting the clubs back in order. Are you going to get paid what you used to get paid? No. Because they're not going to be able to get the same amount of people in the door, and they're not going to be able to make the same amount of money, so they can't pay the talent what they were paying the talent, right?
Right.
You know.
That's going to suck.
Yeah. You know, it's really a question of, I mean, if I were back in California right now, if I had a radio show where I could promote comedy shows, I would start doing more of my outdoor venues like I did with the Frost Amphitheater, where people could maintain a certain distance from each other. You know, and then instead of bringing 8,000 people in, bring in 4,000 people.
That might work.
Yeah, you know, and tell them to stay apart, and I'm sure they would, you know. But if everybody wears masks, your chances of spreading it, of it being spread, diminish greatly. Okay, so you know that's really where we're at. So what's the new normal? You know, I don't think your business is not going to get back to normal. But there will be some accommodation for it, because I think people still want to have, want to have own comedy clubs, but they have to figure out a new way of doing it, and I don't know if they've come up with that yet. Has anybody there, out where you are, talked about?
I haven't heard anything what they're going to do, so I don't know. But yeah, you can't. What, the Punchline seats 150, so what, are they going to put 40 people in there? And
well, I mean, if it seats 150, then it'll probably have to do 75, you know. And then they're going to have to pay you less. Or they're going to have to do more shows per night. That's another option, you know. And that you'll have to call ahead and make a reservation, that you can't just walk in the door. So they can control that. I see those all as possibilities.
Yeah, then bigger, baseball's trying to get going. I don't know how that's going to work, where you got 30,000 people, but it is outside, so that's...
Well, but they may not have an audience, may not have a crowd. They're doing NASCAR right now with empty seats. You know, they're going to try some basketball without an audience, or a crowd or whatever. I don't know. My question is how it would affect the game.
Yeah, the crowd's a big part of the game. So,
well, I mean, are the players juiced by the crowd?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, we say absolutely, but I've asked some players, "Do you hear the crowd when you're out on the field?" And because I never ask normal sports questions, since I don't know normal sports. And the answer I usually got was no, it's just a constant sound that is there that becomes part of your environment. So I'm really questioning what's going to happen when that sound is removed from them. And they're rushing down the field to make the goal, and there's nobody cheering. Will they have the incentive to run to the other side of the field?
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be like a comic doing the joke and not getting any laughs.
Well, I mean, you could not do comedy in front of no audience.
No, I have these people call, hey, you want to do our Zoom show, which technically I couldn't do anyway, but you can't do comedy. You can't hear anything,
Yeah. And like when we're talking here, I don't expect you to tell jokes. If you say one, great. Well, I never did that anyway. I never expected the comics to perform on my show.
No, that's why you were different from the other morning shows, because it was more conversational and in the moment. And when you listen to those shows where guys would come on and do their act, it was terrible.
Well, I also didn't want you as a performer to suddenly feel you had to do your act or you had to be funny every minute. I would rather you be conversational, and out of that conversation, you come up with some material that you never thought you had.
Yeah. And Some comics are really good at that somewhere. So
yeah, there were some people who did great on my show, and others who I really liked, who didn't.
Yeah, there are guys I remember, you guys you like, but they just didn't quite fit into your show.
Jim Samuels, God bless him, if I believed in God, who was a comic, who died. Was one of the ones in those early days that died of AIDS.
30 years ago this month.
I thought the world of Jim Samuels. I like Jim Samuels.
Love Jim. He's a great guy.
Lovely, wonderful guy. Was terrible on my show. He just didn't work well on radio. So I didn't book him that much because of that factor. That and the fact that he was gay and I don't want any queers on my show, but that's enough. The fact was that I really liked him a lot, but he just never nailed it. He was never able to connect on radio. And there were other comics who maybe weren't as good as Jim Samuels, who I had on all the time because they worked well on radio. So it really, you were one of the ones that worked well in clubs and radio, so let's not,
I'm a double threat.
You're a double threat. Here's what my latest problem with you is. I now have it so that all the comics I do, and I'm doing you, and I'm doing Kravitz, and I'm doing Pearl, right? Mm-hmm. I was doing Will, but Will obviously has other business to attend to right now. Will I always used to have with video. He could do Skype. Then all of a sudden Zoom came along. So now I do Pearl and I do Kravitz using Zoom because they have phones, right? You're the only one that still remains audio.
I'm the holdout.
You're the holdout. I mean, if only you could get yourself one. I've offered you one of my old phones,
I had talked to some guy a couple of weeks ago, very successful. He said, I'm going to give you an iPhone. Is it an iPhone 11? Whatever the latest one is.
Yeah.
He was going to give me one of those, and I said no.
What?
Yep. What? Loaded. But
really? Who was it? Do I know?
No.
Oh, okay. But really?
Yeah.
You turned it down?
I turned down an 11.
Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this to me?
I know how technology works with me. Is I'm going to get a phone like that. I'm going to try to do something. It's not going to work. I'm going to get frustrated and throw it against the wall.
I got news for you. Those phones were made for technology idiots like you.
I've heard that, but I don't believe it.
I mean, Zoom is so easy that you get email, right?
Yeah.
So you get an email on your thing, on your iPhone from me, and it has a link, and you just click on that. You just push the link, and you're automatically talking to me on Zoom. Now, how easy is that, Larry Bubbles?
It wouldn't work for me. I know it.
Go get that iPhone 11, okay? Do us all a favor. We would love to see what you look like.
Not really.
By the way, Pearl hasn't aged a bit.
Yeah, he still looks good, right?
Yeah, he still looks like Pearl. Yeah. I have no idea what you look like these days.
I'll send a photo. But snail mail.
Snail mail.
I'll send a photo on my...
Yeah, what's your address? I'll mail it to you.
As soon as I get it developed, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, right. Oh, jeez almighty. But, if only you would get that phone, damn it. And I've got a couple old ones that are really good and work okay, So, I mean, come on. We got to get you. Just, it would be nice to see you. It would be nice for the audience to be able to see you. Instead, I run this static little picture of you with some you're naming some stuff going on the thing while these interviews are going on. So,
well, maybe I'm a Luddite. I don't know.
You don't know? You're the king of the Luddites. If there was a picture in the dictionary to describe Luddite, there'd be a picture of Larry Bubbles Brown.
So I guess the Amish don't use the internet, right?
Good. Go live in Pennsylvania. Anyway, we've run out of time, Larry Bubbles Brown.
It flies by quickly with no technology.
I'll talk to you next week without any visual. Okay. Bye-bye.
5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
And that's Larry Bubbles Brown. We love Larry, don't we love Larry? We love Larry. Yes, we love him a lot. Okay, we're going to be using our new thing that we've been trying to use for a while here. And it's what do you call it? Zoom, okay? And what I'm doing is I've just disabled the waiting room so that when you come on, you will come on directly on the program. If you want to know how to get to Zoom, go to gabnet.net. In the center of the page, there's a thing that says if you want to call us on Zoom, just click here. And you just click there, and that's all you have to do. The rest is taken care of, and then you're here with us on the program. If you don't want to go to gabnet.net, you can go to my Facebook page, which is Facebook.com/A Bennett, ABENNETT. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, as part of the description of the show and so on, there is a link, and you click on that. So it's so simple, it's ridiculous. And now I simply sit here waiting for people to call. Last night it was a little difficult because it was the first time we did it, and some people were having problems. Phil was having a problem because I think he had the old Zoom or something in his computer. By the way, the great thing is you don't have to have Zoom in your computer in order to be able to call us, okay? All you have to do is click on that link, and Zoom does the rest. However, if you have Zoom installed, it makes it a little bit easier. But anyway, let me just do something here and put us in gallery view. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Here is, let me go down here and get this and do that. And there we go. There's Brian Neary already. See how easy that is? And Charlie Wallace just joined us. Hello, Charlie. No trouble tonight, right, Charlie? Charlie? No. Are you listening to us, Charlie? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I think he's setting up his audio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had to go back and mute Facebook because it was on Facebook.
Oh, it was on Facebook. I see. Okay, and here's Phil. Phil had no problem tonight, right, Phil?
It worked flawlessly. There's a couple of steps I'd have to get used to, but pretty easy.
Yeah, damn easy. So anyway, and the picture looks good, and if people want to call, just call, and you'll automatically be sent over to us. So all you had to do was click on the link, right?
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, and none of you have had a problem tonight. And the true test will be when we hear from Jeff whether he gets through.
Well, his wife Pam, helps him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's interesting. A woman in the family is the person who knows how to use the computers. Isn't that amazing?
Well, that old joke, who was the old comedian that said it? It's so easy a 6-year-old could put it together, so give me a 6-year-old.
You can find a 6-year-old to help me with this. Yeah. Yeah, no, I always used to say, you want to fix your computer, just find the closest kid you can find, and he probably can do it.
It was W.C. Fields.
Was it W.C. Fields who said that? Yeah. Like anybody knows who W.C. Fields was anymore.
Well, W.B. Fields' brother.
Huh?
It was W.B. Fields' brother.
Yeah, right. Anyway, so folks, so call. It's simple, it's easy, and we'll wait for you to join us. But we have a crowd assembled here tonight. Brian Neary, who I guess business is going to be picking up, Brian, because we're getting a lot sicker around the country, aren't we?
Yeah. Our stock has jumped back already, even though there's a little bump today. But yeah, our stock is already back to where it was before all the big drops. So we're doing good.
Yeah.
We topped 4 million cartridges. And then yesterday, as Phil knows, Phil pinged me because we're on TV, but we just we announced that we're going to have the flu div test that I mentioned before. Mm-hmm. We're actually going to be testing four different flu assays on this cartridge now. Yeah, so that'll be coming out in a few months. So it's pretty cool.
Hey, your director of medicine was being interviewed by KTVU.
Yeah, he's Mr. Personality.
Yeah, but hey, what else do you expect? He makes good cartridges.
Yeah, he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
Right there is Charlie Wallace. Yes, Charlie?
I just wanted to mention that Austin, Texas tied its all-time high for single-day COVID infections.
Oh, really? Well, congratulations.
And
tomorrow do better.
It's also getting close to full capacity at its hospital emergency.
Isn't Austin a college town and quite liberal?
High tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Texas legislature has passed laws saying that Austin cannot restrict people going outside. When they opened up the state, they forced Austin to open up.
Wow.
So you mean that the people who live there can't do the right thing, social distance?
Oh, you can do it. You can do it, but you won't be able to get unemployment.
But you don't need unemployment if you're not sick.
By the way, speaking of another Texan,
right.
Here we've been joined by.
You don't need food if you're not sick. Yeah.
We've been joined by Scott Boddicker.
Test. Is this thing working?
Yes. Test.
I can't hear shit. Come on.
Was that simple enough, Scott?
Testes.
No, I actually had to go and download the Zoom and stuff, but I figured it out. I tried last night and I couldn't do it, so I tried again today.
Oh, okay.
I had a problem too, Scott. It was I didn't realize that you needed an update.
Well, there's a difference why you, Phil, had a problem, and between that and why Scott did. Scott did because he just didn't have it installed. Although you do not have to have it installed. It's just that Zoom does all the work for you.
Why does it ask you to open up Zoom when you click on your link?
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah.
It did, yes.
Well, anyway,
on the Mac it did. Yeah.
If you have,
but it's okay. Keep going.
No, it's going good. You got on okay, and the difference is that Phil is a moron, and you're a very smart person, and that's the difference between the two people.
It took me 2 days, so it was a little difficult. So don't. It's not as simple as people.
Don't
think.
disparage me so fast.
Yeah. It was a.
Hey, Scott, you're Plano, Texas, right? Was Armstrong from there? I just saw that 30 for 30. Was Lance Armstrong from there?
Yeah, he graduated high school here, then he went down to Austin.
Yeah,
he trained in the hills.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
See? Okay.
Austin claims him.
Really?
Austin claimed him?
Oh, you can have him. No, it's all right.
It's all right.
We both have a bit of him.
Yeah. By the way, Plano is the home of, are you ready for this? How do I know this kind of trivia? It's the home of Snapple. Am I right?
Oh.
I think they're part of Dr. Pepper or whatever.
But the company is in Plano.
Yes.
The headquarters,
Yes.
is in Plano. So there you go.
Plano, Texas.
So you two people are in Texas. Texas today had a huge jump.
Yeah.
It seems that most of these states that opened up. I mean, it's so bad right now. It's turned around and gotten so bad in the country, in the rest of the country, not here in New York, that the stock market dumped 1,800 points.
Yeah.
Oh, I stopped looking after 1,000.
Oh, yeah. 1,800.
Texas ain't slowing down, though.
What?
Texas is not slowing down. It's gonna open up even more businesses next week.
And it's stupid. It is just stupid. I mean, what you do is you you use science to determine your opening. That's what we've done here in New York. And believe me, if we see anything turning around to any appreciable amount, we're closing everything down again. You know, this is.
Doesn't believe in science.
But, well, I mean, it's. I think we've got we've got an administration that has not done anything in this whole thing. I mean, they've been completely out to lunch on it.
This is a pretty tired subject.
No, it's not a tired subject because.
Yeah. What about Seattle? What do you think about them succeeding from the nation and the little town that they set up and that they're shaking down local merchants?
I don't care about that. I care about the fact that.
Did you see it? It looked like a street fair. They call it a street fair today.
Yeah. But they're armed. They're beating up people that go in, and they're shaking down local merchants and damaging things. They've taken over the police.
Where did you hear this version of it?
Brian?
Is this your
I didn't see that. CNN, I saw they're calling it like a street fair because people are just walking around and
unbelievable the hypocrisy that I'm seeing there. The Seattle East Police Station was taken over. The mayor ordered the police to let it go, and it's been taken over by terrorists, basically. You want your Antifada, they're there.
They changed it to the people department. They put people over police. Right. So the people department, they boarded it up, they did some graffiti, and they're just taking pictures of it. Come on, they didn't burn it down like Minneapolis.
No, they didn't burn it down because the people who took it over want to use it as a facility for.
What about the Chicago police?
Well, listen,
the Chicago police that were caught in the congressman's office for 5 hours while they were looting downstairs in Chicago.
Were they with the congressman's wife?
Huh?
They were in there for 5 hours. Were they with the congressman's wife?
No, they were eating the guy's popcorn. He wasn't happy about it.
No, I haven't heard the story about this going on in Seattle. But wait a minute. Hold on a second. Hold on. I have not heard anything about it. So let me go to Brian Neary's version of what you saw as being the story. Did you see
my
it?
version?
Yeah.
Yeah, my version was like people were walking up and down. There weren't. At first, when I heard it, it sounded like they were under siege, like it was like a regular, the big mob scene. Mm-hmm. And people were just like walking around. They just went up to the police department, took a picture. They had it boarded up, graffiti, and they changed and said police department. It says people department. And they were very calm. I don't know why the police weren't there. There weren't.
You know why you saw that? I saw a clip. CNN was filmed telling one of the protesters to do a second take on his what they were doing. CNN is fake news, and they did set up something that they called news, and it was actually staged.
Charlie?
Yeah, to talk about fake news, Phil yesterday said that CNN took down the poll where they had Biden.
I heard it wrong. You're right.
Head.
You're right.
They did not take it down. Okay. Trump demanded they take it down.
Yeah, right.
So how can we trust you on this one, Phil?
Because I saw this one and I was sober, okay?
Oh, boy.
The radiation is kicking in, so I'm feeling pretty good.
The Antifa is, I'm Antifa,
I know. Yeah. Hashtag Antifa Lives Matter.
Yeah. In fact, we're changing it us from Gabnet to Antifa's Gabnet. So,
right. Yeah. Well, you don't even need the Gabnet. Just go straight Antifa.
Well, I guess our president wants us to think that Antifa actually really exists, and uses it as a straw dog. Now here's what Idiot Boy is doing now. He's having a rally on Friday, which is the
June 19th.
Yes, is the anniversary of the freeing of the slaves. It's called Juneteenth, is what the name is. Yeah, go ahead. You got your hand up, Charlie.
Yeah, he's making everybody that attends that rally sign a waiver absolving Donald Trump and the Republican Party against all if anybody gets sick with COVID, they can't sue Trump.
Yeah. Now,
But
here, wait a
we're
minute.
done.
But there's
We're
one.
done.
There's one other. There's one other factor here. They're doing it on the anniversary of the freeing of the slaves.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, well, that's just a slap in the face.
And you know what else happened in Tulsa on that day?
Yes.
1921.
The biggest massacre of black people that ever
Yep.
took place in this country.
Well, do you
1921.
think
Called
that-
the Black Wall Street riot.
so the
That's not
people
a
that
fact.
celebrate Juneteenth, do you think that they're actually going to show up at the rally?
Phil,
I don't-
you're taking us off.
not for
You're
them.
taking us off topic. We're saying that this guy has so little respect for other human beings that he is going to hold it on that particular day so he can piss people off and do it in Tulsa, home on the anniversary of the worst massacre of black people in America.
Just remember, if a tree falls in the forest and you're not there, do you hear anything?
Phil, you don't understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
I mean,
I understand.
the
I don't
man,
think
the man has no compassion. He has no. He's not a decent. He's not a mensch, Phil.
you know, you can call him every name under the sun, but he's my president.
You can have him.
You can have him.
I'll have him again for 4 more years.
So how's the radiation going?
It's glowing. This morning, they finally gave me some early morning appointments. You know, they were killing my day. They have me come in at 1 o'clock, 11 o'clock. I said, this is crazy. It's a half-hour drive down, a half-hour drive back, a half-hour in the thing. You're destroying my day. So they gave me some 7:30s and some 8s. And this morning was 9:30, but the rest of them were going to be early.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Well, you know, you
I get up at 4:30 anyway.
one
so-
more day and you got 1 week out of the way.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I don't really have any side effects. I really don't.
I didn't feel side effects from the radiation until maybe the last one. And then I started feeling, I had certain urinary problems, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more frequent now. And, you know, the hardest thing is drinking the damn water. Because I got to fill the bladder, because when they give you the radiation, if the bladder's full, it pushes it out of the way of the radiation.
Well, you know what they didn't do to you, which they did to me? I had to have 2 operations. I had to have an operation in which he goes in, puts me under, and then puts in a spacer.
Oh, a probe.
No,
Oh,
a spacer between my rectum and the prostate, so that the rectum doesn't get radiated.
Well, they put a spacer in me. They pushed me over. One of the gay guys there, he just says here.
You would have known
Why
if
your
they
butt
did.
hurt, you said, right?
They have to put you out, and then they put in some stuff in there. And
you know, they looked at me and they said, "We don't want to do him."
there's stuff. They put stuff in there. Okay.
Yeah, no, I didn't have a prostate to protect. Well, no.
No, you're not doing your prostate. Right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing.
They can't radiate his prostate, folks, because if they do, they probably got to go to a garbage can somewhere.
Yeah.
And do
No,
it.
they're doing the margins, the areas that the prostate was, and it's just like a shotgun. They don't know where anything is. They couldn't pinpoint it. They got a test and they said, okay, let's do this.
Can't they?
And,
Well, I don't know. It's all it's all fake science.
They did it so fast. They didn't really even give me a chance to get a second opinion. It's just, you know, okay, now you're going to do this. I think they make a lot of money out of that machine.
Oh, do you know how much? Do you know how much between the? I got the bills. Okay, between the, the what do you call it? The first one, the radiation, was 45. Well, excuse me, was 60,000.
Wow.
And then the seeds, the prostate seeds, was another 45,000.
Yeah.
Plus, there was about 5,000 for the spacer, and you know, by the time I was through, I was over $100,000.
Yeah. Wow.
It went well over $100,000.
Yeah. Well, we'll all be eager to hear how your test goes if PSA went down.
Well, no, it's not going to go down.
Yeah. Well, eventually it will.
Eventually it will, but it doesn't immediately, because it inflamed the prostate and that caused a problem. But anyway, I just want to see how
Are we
it's
losing
going for you.
audience with prostate talk?
No. But there are people out there. How many of you out there hope that don't? How many of you wish ill on Phil? Because I don't. Oh, you do, Scott. Okay,
Scott,
good.
that's not very Christian.
It'll like
I quit
throwing
going
up
to
and
church,
diarrhea.
so it's affected me.
Well, he's not Christian. He's Catholic.
Same thing.
Is a Catholic? I guess a Catholic is considered Christian, right, Scott?
The original Christians, yes.
The original Christians. That sounds like some kind of rock group. The original Christians. Hello there, Tony. You know what I love? Oh, and here comes Jeff. Okay, Pam's helping him.
Pam. Hi, Pam.
Yeah, we need his face in the picture. There we go. There's Jeff. You know what I love about this? I don't have to do anything. I don't have to do anything. I'm not sitting here saying, "Oh, let's see, which one are you? What's your name? I got to put you in here and put you in there and so on." No, just
This is not bad.
Huh?
I like the Zoom better.
Well, you like Zoom better?
I do. It's so easy, like just to click on.
Yeah.
Can you put graphics up on this?
I have graphics. I have one graphic, the Gabnet logo, superimposed on it. But I can't. See, I can't do anything with the group. It's going to assemble the group like it's going to assemble the group. And by the way, folks, I can have a lot of people here. I pay for it. I can have 100 people at a time. Of course, I wouldn't want 100 people at a time. And if you get more than 20, it goes over to another page or something.
Really?
So then I would have to see what I can do is I can always just go to speaker view, and then you can see who's talking, right? Or I can go to gallery view, and that's this. See? Yeah.
Well, speaker view is pretty interesting because then you see who's making noise.
I guess that would be the case. Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, I can also do that by muting everybody one by one.
The speaker view made the one person come up on the whole page. That's no good.
Well, that's why it's called speaker view, Phil.
Yeah, but you don't get the reactions.
I know, but I just thought I would mention that that's what you can do. Like if you have 100 people and you don't know who's talking, you can hit speaker view and see who's talking.
Mm.
Yeah, what do you think of our reactions, Phil, when you talk? You want to see our reactions?
Yeah, that's called show business.
Yeah, this is all a very. This is a great. It's a great reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, American Patriots back up again, being a bad boy tonight. Oh, by the way, Trump doesn't like mail-in ballots, right? Because it creates fraud, right? Joe Biden today brought up the fact. How do you think Donald Trump votes?
I'm guessing it's mail-in.
By mail. Yes, he does.
He is. Now that unbelievable? But it's all right for his to go in the mail, but not ours.
Yeah, right.
My mother can drop dead at the voting booth and come home with COVID. But it's okay. As long as it's
what do you got there, Charlie? Got your mail-in ballot, do you?
I got
a mail-in ballot for the primary.
How many did you get?
Yeah.
You're gonna get yours, dude.
25.
Holy shit.
We have ours sitting out there. We have ours sitting out there for the primary too. So I gotta fill it out and send it back in.
Wasn't that the Publishers Clearinghouse envelope?
I was going to tell you, Alex. I told Checky, I have to take the COVID test for my colonoscopy. My doctor told me on my television.
Yeah, anybody who goes through any kind of surgery.
I was going to tell you.
It's like that here too.
Yeah, has to get the COVID test.
Tony just bend over and they stick that COVID swab.
It goes up he said it's bad, Alex. It goes all the way to the back.
Marjorie said it wasn't that deep.
I'm worried now.
Marjorie said it wasn't that deep at all.
No? Okay.
But then again, that's what she said about me. Jeff?
He says it goes up both nostrils. I got my goop inside, Alex. I
I
think that's
took the
going on.
test,
What?
and today
Jeff took it.
I found that I passed.
What? You
You got
passed?
COVID?
Yeah, Pam and I both did it,
Yeah.
And
and we're okay
you're okay.
Why
That's
did you
the no
decide to
COVID.
take it?
until tomorrow.
Yeah, Jeff. Why did you decide to take the test?
Because where I live, there's like 500 people, all over 65 or 45 or whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
And they came in and said, if you want to sign it up, and next week we're going to do it. And we signed up and did it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Marjorie got hers, so I see no reason to get mine. Because the only person I've really come into contact with in the last 3 months is her, right?
Plus, whatever you've done, it's not going to help you next week, the next day.
Yeah, and we don't. The funny part is, you can get it, Tony. You can get it whenever you're going to get it. When are you getting your COVID?
They told July 9th, so my doctor told me that I have to call them up July 1st because they want to have it in NYU like right before, because I'm having everything done.
Marjorie had to have hers. She had hers done the day before she had her procedure. Yeah.
He's telling me maybe 3 days before.
Yeah.
And they get the result.
They get it back quick.
They got
Well,
Marjorie's
yeah, they'll have
result.
it. They'll know, yeah.
What?
Marjorie's result that quickly?
Yes,
Just the day before?
within a day. Yeah, she did it in what maybe 10 o'clock in the morning on a Monday, and on Tuesday morning at 9 she called them and they gave her results.
Did she see the machine that they were using?
No.
Did it say teen expert?
No.
Word.
No, and
I'm
then
not worried
they
about
then they also sent her a copy of the report.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what my doctor told me, Alex? He told me that for him to go to NYU, he's got to take the test twice a week.
Really?
Yeah, because twice a week. He said I'm almost positive that's what he told me because I did the television.
Well, according to Marjorie, don't worry, Tony. According
I'm a
to
little
Marjorie,
worried,
I
but
said,
you
did they
feel
put
good.
it in really deep? She said, no, they put it in just a little ways.
Okay.
And don't
I'm
worry.
not. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I get nervous over this.
You're not going to hear your brain pan go clank, okay?
I'm thinking it's going to be back while my eyes like. I'm like, oh, he told me it's going to be uncomfortable. Just close your eyes and be open fast.
Just for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what?
Yeah.
What happened? But if you find out that you've got COVID,
oh God,
you can't get your colonoscopy. The good news is you can't get your colonoscopy. The bad news is you've got COVID.
I know. I don't think I have it though, because I would have known I had that.
I think you would.
Yeah, right. That's what I told him. He says, no. He said, just stay safe. Because I told him I'd take care of my mother. I'd have to quarantine myself.
Well, I was happy that that Marjorie came out the way she did, because my whole attitude is that she, since she doesn't have it, it's nice to know that I don't have it, and what I've got is, hay fever. So
yeah, that's like you're like me. I said, do you have allergies? It's only when the guys cut the grass and stuff.
Yeah.
But other than that, he said, no. He said, if you had it, he said you would know. You would definitely know you have something. And you know what he said to me, Alex?
Yeah.
He says, don't. I said, how bad is it, Doc? He says, listen. He said, I'm being honest. He said, that's nothing to play around with. He's seen it up close. He says, COVID is dead serious.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Don't let me tell you any different.
It's not good. It's not good. I think maybe somebody I know is dead from it, or because I've been trying to get a hold of them for a couple of days. I wrote him an email, didn't get anything back. Wrote another email, didn't get anything back. Then I texted him to his phone, and no reply. And this is
where he lives?
I know at Brooklyn. I don't know where exactly.
Tell Tony to go there.
Tell Tony to go there?
Yeah. Go to Tony, knock on his door.
Yeah.
I hope it's all right, though.
Anyway.
Where do you send the check or the for the storage? You send it to him, right?
What?
When you pay your half of the storage.
Oh yeah. We do it by what do you call that? What's that service? No, that we're bank to bank.
Western Union?
Oh, direct deposit.
No, it's not direct deposit.
Venmo.
No, it's called
File transfer.
No, there's a name for it. L.
I know.
Yeah, L.
You can't have the police do a well check on him?
He doesn't know where he lives.
I don't know where he lives.
Oh, contact the attorney who handled the estate.
He hasn't talked to either of us.
Yeah, but he knows where he lived.
But he moved since then.
Oh boy.
You got to do a tracer. You find out from where he moved. One
more thing. I'm gonna try calling the number and see. Oh, look at that sunset, Marin. Oh, I love it. If it weren't so infected.
Not Marin.
Yeah, there's a lot of clouds out there, so later on it'll all turn pink. The whole scenery.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be an old man downstairs in my rocking chair just watching that.
Yeah, you're a little out of focus there. You gotta. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure I don't. The doc says you don't got it. You would know, Tony.
No, you'd have some symptoms of some sort.
You must have it, Tony. That's the only reason you are the way you are.
That's true. Yeah, my mother wanted to go down. My brother's going to take me to the colonoscopy. She's like, "Can I go?" What? She gave the doctor. Your mother can't go. They're not going to let her in.
Well, I have to have a blood draw on Monday, and I don't mind blood draws because I've gotten so used to them now.
Yeah.
Alex, you go into the doctor's office for that?
I'm going to go into a lab, get it done.
But you don't need to take the test though for that.
What? No, I don't need the COVID test to get a blood draw, Tony. It's when you are being operated on.
Oh,
when you're having a procedure.
Free. The government's paying for them.
Really?
Phil, I don't need it. Marjorie isn't sick.
You're just afraid to have them stick the thing up your nose.
I see no reason to I see no reason to take up a space somebody else could use. Yes, Charlie.
I would have it done in a heartbeat, but they won't let me because they don't have enough test kits.
Well, what happened is they'd say here in New York, if you don't have symptoms and you haven't been in contact with somebody who has it, then you shouldn't be tested because they want to be able to get enough tests done on all the people who suspect they might have a problem.
After you actually go and have the scan and the other things done that you're going to do, and the blood test, then you should say, now do the COVID thing and see if you were exposed when you were down there.
They don't do the COVID at this lab.
No. Oh, you're not going to do it at the hospital?
No, I just said I'm doing it at a lab. There's a lab down the street about 5 blocks, 6 blocks. Quest.
That would have to mean I was listening to you. I'm sorry.
And I'm walking down to it and then going in, and I'm doing it early at 9:15 in the morning. That's the hard part for me, getting up that early. But I'm doing it at 9:15 because that's the senior time, and they give you special handling.
Oh, you get a lollipop?
No, they give me a young girl, and it's here. You've been very good. You got your blood drawn. Now here's somebody to have sex with. It's very nice. Big joke because with all that they've been doing to my prostate, it's amazing it works at all. So. There are a couple of stories. One story that I wanted to deal with here, and that is the renaming of of military bases.
Military bases.
There are a lot of military bases that were named after, and I didn't know that some of them even were, Confederate figures, like Fort Bragg, as an example.
That's it.
Yeah, I didn't know that was named. I didn't know how. I mean, when they say Fort Lee, like there's Fort Lee, New Jersey. I wonder if they're going to change that one.
Yeah, they should.
But I don't think it was named after Robert E. Lee.
Hey,
probably not.
The cop that killed George Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it was due to racism or just due to the fact that he was an idiot? That he was a bad cop and he.
And you really think he'd have done that to a white guy?
Yeah, I think that
Okay. Fine.
Yeah.
Fine. All right.
I don't, you know,
You believe it. You believe it.
it.
That's fine. Don't worry about it.
I just don't see, where the racism.
I think that him being black was a mitigating circumstance for
Yeah,
that
but the other
guy.
two guys there were Oriental.
No, they weren't.
Oriental.
Asian.
Do we use that term anymore, Phil?
No.
Oriental.
Does that mean Chinese? Or?
Racists do.
It's
Yeah.
not Oriental, Phil. It's Chinaman.
Pink, you mean?
That's what my grandfather. Oh,
I
Which,
think they were
we
from.
the order it's wrong.
They weren't Thai. They were, maybe. They.
Phil, let's
You're
not
definitely
let's not
Oriental.
try to make excuse for this guy. Crazy, not crazy, racist, not racist. Doesn't matter.
but
What he
the whole
did
thing-
was pure and utter murder.
This whole thing they're saying is racist, and I just don't see the racism in what the guy did.
Let's say for a moment it wasn't racism. There have been so many people that have been killed because of their race by police that we kind of have suspicions it might have played something into
Not
this.
good enough. You don't burn down police stations and kill cops and
No,
put
you
300
burn down police stations because it's fun.
Yeah. You don't do those things in the name of racism.
They're not doing it because they're racist. They're doing it because they're white people
Who?
burning down the cops. They're not racist either.
Oh, no, they're-
are they?
Oh
No,
yeah,
it's
yeah, right,
More
right.
than just white people. It's a lot of people. It's young people. But I just don't. When I look at the guy, I'm just not seeing the racism. in it.
What?
He's
How can
doing
you
other
see or not see racism in somebody
I see
who
the
you
guy
are even
with his
standing in
feet.
front of and talking to?
I see him.
That's
with
idiocy,
Nick
Phil.
on the guy's neck.
yeah, but what did you hear, Phil? What did you hear?
Hear about
I
what?
think
Did I
hearing
hear-
is a big thing with that. That's that they let that one officer out on bail, and that was the one that told him, "Should we turn him back? Should we turn him over?"
Yeah,
know?
but what
And
does that have to do?
The hearing of him asking for breath and stuff like that is almost worse than seeing it, because you
Well,
hear
it was
that.
terrible. It was terrible. But was it done because the guy was black? I don't think so. I just don't see that. I didn't hear. Did they yell any racist epithets at the guy? They had recordings.
I think the way in which they were handling him, considering the circumstances, was a racial epithet in and of itself.
the two of them were on the job for less than a week. They were in training.
Look, those guys, I have a little bit of forgiveness for, only because they were new at the job and they were only doing what they figured they were supposed to do because they were following the lead of somebody with far more experience than them.
The
I agree.
training officer. He was the training officer of these, at least one of them. I think the Asian guy was the training officer for the other dude.
Other guy, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I just didn't hear. Well, I don't know that anybody's heard. A racial screaming.
You don't have to have a racial slur
But
to
the guy-
create. Wait a minute, Phil. You don't have to have a racial slur
Yeah.
to have a racial action.
We give you an indication. I know Charlie wants to say something, but with that Aubrey guy.
God
in
forbid
Georgia-
Charlie should say something.
Yeah, the Aubrey guy in Georgia. They had a recording, and the son of the guy who shot
Yeah, we know.
They had a racial epithet.
Let me see here. Charlie. See, I can point at him because I know
It's
where
like in
he
the top
is.
square.
There's Charlie.
The racism comes in as systemic racism because of the way black people are treated by cops in general, or very often around the country. It wasn't just there. There are people in Minneapolis that were worried about racism. It's all around the country. We have a lot of black people being shot, unarmed black men being shot.
They say that all of this is over George Floyd and the killing.
No, it's
of
not.
black
No,
man.
Phil,
That was
it is-
like the straw that broke the
You know
back.
what it is? Right now, would you agree with me, Charlie? He is being so white, Phil, that it's ridiculous because he doesn't understand the simple fact of what it's like to be a. Wait a minute, let me finish, Phil.
Yeah.
You're not telling the truth. You're only telling what you perceive to be your truth. The point is that you don't know what it's like to be a black person in America, and have had this be a factor in your life every day of your life. And this, the George Floyd thing, is just the tipping point.
That's racist. That statement, Alex, is racist in itself.
How is that racist?
Yes, because what it does is it singles out. I don't know what it's like.
No, you don't. No, you don't. And neither do I, Phil. And neither do I.
No. That it makes.
But I have something. I have something you don't have, Phil. It's called empathy. Yes, Charlie.
I had one of my co-workers at the Texas Comptroller's office, and he was in his 50s, and I was in my 50s, and he had told me he had never been stopped by a cop in his life driving. Never been stopped. And there was a period of my life where I got stopped at least once a year, sometimes 2-3 times a year, just for driving. And they'd make up something like, oh, you were changing lanes too often, or one time I was 6 inches over that line at a stoplight. The light changed yellow. I hit my brakes and stopped, and I was 6 inches over that white line. He pulled me over. Now,
I'll tell you what you were. I tell you what you were guilty of, Charlie. Was DWB.
Yeah.
Driving while black.
Haven't you ever heard of the quota, the ticket quota? You know,
they didn't give me tickets because I was always very, concessionary. I would not. I was yes sir, no sir, and I always ended one of those stops with "Ton officer, thank you for your service, because I know you have a very tough job," and that would be it. And I never get I only got once or twice. I even got a warning. I never got a ticket from those stops, but I was stopped at least once every year.
Yes.
They liked you.
Huh? Yes. Anthony.
Oh, thanks. That's like my mother said. You know what I was going to say? The reason why I think it is racist, though, and Charlie and Alex can answer this too, even Charlie, it's always the white cop who's doing it. You never see the colored cop sitting on the guy's neck.
Colored cops?
Colored? Colored?
The Orientals.
What color? Green?
But you know what I'm talking. But you know what I'm saying? You never see the black guy doing it.
Yeah. And by the way, tell them what your favorite kind of food is.
Chinks.
For me?
I love Chinese food. I love Chinese.
You're all racist.
I love Polish food.
Oh,
no, but you never see the colored cop killing the guy. They know
the colored cop. Please.
Oh, sorry.
I just think that singling out whether black or not black, or colored or not colored, or Oriental or
Oriental
or Asian is racist in itself. Singling that out, we're all people, and
Phil. No, we're not all people. Some of us are white, and some of us are black, and the people who are white have far more privilege in this country than someone who is black. Am I right, Charlie?
Yeah.
Not if they get an education.
Oh, fuck you.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Fuck you, Jeff.
Look at that Harvard professor. What's his name? Gates. I mean, he had a PhD.
Did he?
Jeff?
I gotta put my 10 cents on this, because today I spent on the phone listening to my black friends at Yale University who did their own little speaker thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there was like 30 people who all worked there. And they started talking about what it's like to be black and what's their life and how easy and how tough. And one of the people who was speaking is a good friend of mine. And he called me the day before and he says, I got to speak tomorrow. Could you give me a couple of hints and this and that? And Pam and I had a little discussion with him about it. And but what I really want to do is I want to send a copy of it for Phil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, send it to me. You know, I'll watch it.
You will not believe what the life is like.
You know, I mean, it's. I have an idea of what it's like, because I told you the story where I got, I understand what went on in Minneapolis a couple of weeks ago. That's Minneapolis. Minneapolis, one of the most racist cities I ever lived in my life. And I thought it was going to be really liberal because it's known as a very liberal, politically liberal state. And yet we went this black patrol took me out to Plymouth Avenue at night and showed me people, white guys, driving down the street shooting guns out of their cars at black people. And I went, my God. I lived in Houston, Texas, and I didn't see this. Although the reason I got out of Houston, Texas, is I was planning on leaving. It was lucky I left because I was about ready to tell people that I had discovered that at the Houston Police Department on Tuesday nights, they were having meetings of the Ku Klux Klan.
Oh, shit.
What year?
And they knew that I was going to do that, and they were going to plant marijuana on me and bust me for drugs. And somehow at the same time, I was leaving town to go to work in Minneapolis and got out of town a day or two before they were going to plant these drugs on me.
You said Minneapolis was very, what did you call it? Racist.
Racist.
And you said that they were, and it was in Minneapolis where they were shooting, white people shooting black people.
Yeah.
What year was that? Because I think of that movie, The Bronx Tale, where they had a similar situation. I know one of the actors that was in that, Joseph D'Onofrio. He was one of the kids that got burned up in the car when they threw the Molotov cocktails at the black guys.
So a movie actor, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, that took place. It was staged in the 50s.
No, this was 60. This was 67.
Early 60s.
67.
And for you, it was 60 what?
67.
Okay, so it was a very hot time racially. 65.
It wasn't a hot time racially in Minneapolis.
You don't think
huh?
Because then in '68,
no, it was very quiet. But I saw what was going on. I saw the reality of it. And then besides people driving down the street shooting guns out their window, white guys, I saw white guys driving down the street and just if they saw a black woman on a street corner would ask her, "How much do you want to blow me?" Thinking that any woman who was walking on the streets of Plymouth Avenue was a prostitute.
I didn't do this because of race or anything, but when we worked the hooker patrol, we used to see who could get it the cheapest. So they'd say, "I want $5 for BJ." And, no, 50 cents. One guy got it for a McDonald's burger. And
this was your police department?
Yeah, well,
you got a Happy Meal.
That's absolutely disgusting, Phil.
It is.
I don't know why you find. I don't know why you even begin to find that humorous. That somebody is using their power to be abusive.
Undercover. It was all undercover.
Oh, it was all undercover. But they took the blowjob, didn't they?
No, we took them to jail.
Was it a Big Mac or?
I don't know. It was McDonald's burger.
I got to blow this. My mother's in the bathroom.
I'm sorry about his actions tonight, Charlie.
Well, it had nothing to do with black or white. It could have been crack or it could have been white too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And but they $5 they wanted. Mm-hmm. How about 50 cents? If they agreed to it, then we hooked them.
I don't know how we got off of the subject of the army bases or the military bases, but Trump says he's not going to change the name of them.
Did you see they pulled a statue down and it fell on of Robert E. Lee and it fell on one of the Antifa?
These weren't Antifa.
Did you hear the reason though?
I did. He was standing under it.
No. The reason why they didn't want to change the name. So Kylie, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
They say when she flipped her page to see what she's supposed to be reading from, she says she didn't. Trump doesn't want the last memory before they go off into wherever they're going to be stationed. Their last memory of Fort whatever. That's the memory that they want to keep forever in their thoughts.
No, he said it was
That's what she said.
Faces are the people that are there. And you don't need to change the name.
You can change if indeed those names. A lot of black people in the military, Phil, and those people are on bases with names which are named after Civil War
Traders.
icons.
But the Civil War wasn't fought specifically over slavery. By abolishing slavery, it gave it was difficult for the South to continue with their economy. But
it was an economic sanction against the South, and I've always said that Lincoln isn't as great a guy as you thought he was. That he was doing it for economic purposes, as an economic sanction, much like Trump, puts an embargo or a tariff on goods coming to the United States from China, but it's not so much that he wants the money as he wants to get even with China.
Yeah. I know he wants a fair deal.
Well, he ain't going to get it. Okay. Well, so far, he's not. How's he doing on that?
Well, right now, businesses are moving back to the U.S.
Oh, really? Really? They all want to
coming back.
The stocks are coming back?
Oh, jobs, JOBS.
Oh. Well, let's see what happens in the next week, Phil.
Yeah, well, I think this was good. It gave people an opportunity to buy into the market again and make some money.
Yeah. Did you take a look to see how much your stock is worth now? Today?
No, I should though.
Yeah, don't look at it. It'll depress you, Phil. It'll depress you.
Yeah, let me look.
Take the 1, drop the 0. Oh my God, I'm in the negatives.
There's one guy that is quitting NASCAR because of the whole flag thing. The guy's raced 31 races, no wins. Nobody even knows who he is.
Yeah. And it's interesting. He's a NASCAR driver, so he truly is a racist.
Yes. Yeah. They had a good joke. They said the rebel flag is really the second to last flag that they've raised. So they have the white flag, as the last lap.
Yeah.
They're saying because they surrendered, they have the white flag. That's really the racist one.
Yeah.
Oh. What do they do at the checker flag? It's black and white. This is appeasement. I'm down $26.
Well, that ain't bad.
Yeah.
And how much were you up?
50 something.
Oh, okay. Well.
On the old police patrol, that's a back rub and a foot rub and a happy ending.
And a burger.
And a burger. Don't forget the burger.
Yeah.
Good friend.
What do you, Scott? You live in Texas, as does Charlie. And Charlie, you've been staying indoors pretty much, right? You
haven't stay indoors.
Huh?
What was the question?
You've been staying indoors quite a bit, haven't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I only go out to go to the store.
Yeah. Scott, what are you doing now? Because things are getting worse in Texas.
Yeah, right.
I filled up my car 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And I still have 3/4 of a tank of gas in it.
You have a hybrid.
How much?
Oh, really?
How much is the gas?
Well, it went from like I saw it today. I saw it yesterday, but it was like $1.89.
$3.15 for regular.
3 something, yeah.
It's gone up a bunch too.
Yeah, it got as low as $1.19.
Well, before the COVID thing, 3 months ago, I always went by the bank and I took out $300 every month to just have his pocket money, walking around money, right? And as of what was it? A couple of days ago when I checked it out, and this is 3 months later, I still have 150 of it.
Yeah. If you had kids, you wouldn't.
Good. You can send me that 150 I loaned you.
Yeah, right. But the thing was, it wasn't that I, what I spent it on was tips for like people who would deliver food and things like that.
Me too. Yeah.
I find that in this COVID thing, because you have to get takeout, that I tip very heavy because these people are, suffering. So, I do my best to,
Well, through this whole thing, we have kept paying our maid, our cleaning woman.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Because it's true, because they lift work, they depend on it.
Well, we'd be paying her anyway. All right.
That's true.
If she were working.
You have a clean house?
Huh?
The house clean?
We've done some cleaning. Yeah, we did it about a week ago. We did a whole vacuuming of the whole place and dusting and all of that, and kind of.
So this is racist because you're paying your maid to stay away because you don't want to get the flu.
No, we're paying her because we know that she's probably pretty hard hit by this thing because she said that everybody has told her don't come over. All right. And I think it's next weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend that she's coming back for the first time. And she just, we just felt that we'd be paying her anyway, and she's like an employee at a company, And
you're going to make her get the test? You're going to make her get a test?
No, we'll just keep we'll keep our social.
Okay with you.
Huh?
They're okay with you there. Like our cleaning service, we did the same thing. We canceled the first month of the whole COVID, and then the same thing. We felt, wow, they're really depending on certain people who have the money to be able to pay for it. A lot of people can't, and they have to survive. They had a very strict code. They say nobody can be in the house while you're there, and they have a list of stuff that they're doing also.
And what do you do with the jewelry?
You hide it.
You hide it?
I think I'm in my underwear drawer.
No, but I
as they look.
So I mean, it's just a matter that we felt we like her and we felt bad for her and we didn't feel she should suffer, at least on our behalf, because we know that probably everybody else isn't paying her.
Yep.
Right.
Surprised.
But when she comes back, boy, is she going to have to do a cleaning.
Super clean. So sorry to you.
Huh?
I got 3 months of dirty.
I'm going to charge you for a super clean.
Yeah, super clean. Right. But what happened was the percentage of people testing positive in New York City is it went up from 1.2 to 1.3%.
Wow, that's nothing.
That's nothing. So far, we're still saying we want to wait 14 days since the demonstrations, but they think that the demonstrations are going to not make it increase that incredibly because we had brought it down enough, okay, that maybe the vast majority of the people marching did not have COVID, and that they were all wearing masks, most of them. And so, therefore, probably there's a good chance that we're not going to see a huge spike. They imagine there will be a spike, but not a huge one. What did happen in Washington is the National Guardsmen were called out. Something like 23% of them tested positive for COVID.
And that's who he wanted to send it to all the states.
Huh? What?
Remember he kept saying, law and order, man, I'm going to send the National Guard.
Well, the National Guard that was brought to Washington to quell the problem. It's not so much to quell the problem, but to allow the government to do a photo op. They came down by 23% of them with COVID. So. Tested
caught
positive.
It from the protesters.
No, they weren't near the protesters. They were near each other.
They were the ones. The military.
Huh?
Who's the military guy today that came out? He was doing a commencement speech or something, and he said that he should have never been in that photo op and stuff like that.
Yeah, he was the guy in camo who was walking.
Yeah. He said that's not how we should.
And he said that he apologized for it because he felt that, as a military man and representing the military, he didn't want to give the impression that the military was trying to silence protests. That isn't the job of the military.
They shouldn't be political one way or another.
Yeah, but he felt that they shouldn't be involved in quelling a protest. That's a job for the police. That's a job for other people, but it isn't a job for the Army.
Now, what if Trump uses that 1807 law where he can send in the military if things get out of hand, like in Seattle, where you haven't seen it, but They believe that things are getting out of hand there because there are people that live in those 6-block area.
I'm sure
mayor won't do anything.
I'm sure Trump will use everything that he can find from the 1800s to defend this country.
Barr said it was legal.
Barr wouldn't know what was legal and not legal. He's done so many illegal things himself. Charlene, you've been very quiet. We haven't heard a word from you all night. You usually won't shut up.
Well, that's why I'm trying to be a good girl.
You taking hormones too? Oh my God.
No, I'm not any hormones. No.
She just wants.
How do you make a hormone? Don't pay her. That's a Phil joke, right?
Yeah. No, that's Alex's.
Yeah.
I don't want to steal his lines.
Yeah.
I steal everybody else's.
Yeah. How's everything in New Jersey? They seem to. The numbers have gone down in New Jersey, have they?
Yeah, and I don't know. Nothing exciting's going on. They're all listening to the governor because it's like a police state here. If you don't, you'll get in big trouble. I mean, if you don't listen to what the cops and everything.
Yeah.
So you have to wear your mask or they'll call the police. I mean, I have no problem. I wear the mask, but I've actually out here though in Central Jersey, I've seen a couple of Black Lives Matter little signs that you get at Staples. A couple of those, and I almost died because I think they're all Trumpers out here. I really do. I've seen some big Trump banners and things. There's a lot of Trumpers out here.
Well, Trump.
So I was shocked to see Black Lives Matter.
Did anybody see this video of the cop? He's a cop in where was it? Was it New Jersey?
It was Jersey, Alex. Yeah,
Jersey. Yeah, and they were demonstrators marching down the street. So he and his friend stood by the side of the road, and he was there posing like the killing of George. What's his name?
What it was, Alex, is that it was two guys. And there was a demonstration, and when it went by, these two guys one got down on the ground, and the other guy put his knee on his neck, and they said, "All lives matter," and they were fired from their jobs. One guy worked for FedEx.
Yep.
And
the quickest way to get fired is to do something like that, especially if you're a police officer.
He wasn't a police officer. He was with FedEx, but was the other guy a police officer, I believe? Something like that?
Yeah, he could have been, right?
Yeah, that is the quickest way.
But you do it right on television, and then you definitely get fired because they can see it. Yeah.
Facebook is going to get more cops fired than any and Twitter than any other type of service.
But you see, this is another thing, Phil. Well, aren't they bright enough to be like, why am I doing this in social media?
Yes, not. They aren't bright enough.
So that's where they need to be. They can't patrol their own.
No, they can't patrol their own, but there are some. I mean, there's 800,000 police officers in this country. 800,000. There's going to be some bad apples. You think it's an orchard?
But like that one guy with the 18 complaints. I mean, they have to have some kind of. I
think that what they're talking about is having a way of logging when an officer gets complaints at a department and then he moves to another department.
Right.
They're talking about having a what they call it where like a registry.
Yeah.
Where you can keep track of these guys and they don't get hired again.
Exactly.
You know what I think has to happen, though, Phil? And I was going to ask this, Alex, too. What has to happen is for the people to see that, say, God forbid, the situation happened again. You need to see a cop take that guy off him, his own guy. The guy who's kneeling on him, another cop should have went over and pulled him off.
They
need to turn against him. That's the only way it's going to stop.
But the problem was those two guys only had less than a week on the job.
Yeah. So what? You got to know what's right or wrong, though. You got it.
It doesn't matter right or wrong. They don't know. They're like deer in the headlights.
Well, I think I think it's only going to happen internally if they do it right in the public. If those two cops would have knocked him over, they would have been heroes today.
I think that what good things are going to come of this George Floyd thing is that the registry and that cops will stand up and do the right thing. And I think there'll be better training,
But don't you think they would have been heroes still if they would have stopped the murder?
Well,
they would have knocked him
this
over.
guy was gone before the 8 minutes. I think this, with between the fentanyl and the other stuff, the guy had a heart attack. I think he was done.
Wait a minute.
I never heard a person have a heart attack and say, I can't breathe while they're having a heart attack.
Yeah, but he was silent for several minutes.
And why do you make a big deal about fentanyl? I didn't know he had fentanyl.
Yes, he had fentanyl. They did an autopsy. They did 2 autopsies, and he had fentanyl in his system. And so,
but the fentanyl didn't kill him.
No,
the
but
suffocation did.
They're contributing factors. Maybe if he wasn't high on fentanyl, he wouldn't have suffocated.
I don't. You know something? I think that's a disparaging thing against him to say that he had fentanyl in his system. I don't know where you read that, Phil, but I got it. Did anybody else here read that anywhere?
It was the autopsy. Just look up the autopsy.
No, I saw the autopsy, Phil, and didn't say anything about fentanyl. Where are you getting your information, Phil? Charlie, did you see anything? Hold on a second. Where did you see anything about fentanyl?
No, I didn't. But my point I wanted to make is it doesn't matter what was going on in his system. If a guy has a weak heart and you decide to play a prank on him and jump out and scare the hell out of him and he has a heart attack and dies, you're still responsible. You're still
the reason I said that is that the guy was probably dead for at least 2 minutes before he got up from the guy. I think the guy was probably dead after 6 minutes, and he was just sitting there
with his hand in his pocket. By the way, I couldn't figure that one out at all.
Why was he doing that?
I think the guy's nuts.
He died because he had no air.
No. The cop had his hand in a pocket.
You see the cop's face? That's the cold stone killer film. When you see that face.
I think
yes, Charlene has her hand up. Let Charlene talk. Yes, Charlene.
Well, with as far as that goes, the EMTs had they even couldn't get him off when they arrived. He was still on the neck, and they told him, get off, we're here. And he was still on his neck. They couldn't even get him off. So that guy was really bent on pressing his knee into his neck, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And then as far as Phil's talking about that registry, it reminds me of what they used to do to the bad priests that were molesting. Yeah. They would just send them to another parish, molest again over there. So maybe this registry would prevent that. Like Phil kind of alluded to that.
Yeah.
Like if we get a registry of bad cops that have complaints against them, then you'll know. Watch out for this cop, right?
I'll tell you
there's only one problem with that. And that, there's these laws, when you go to hire somebody, if one employer tells the other employer that this guy's no good, I wouldn't hire him, then, they sue you. And so people are afraid to record this kind of information and let it get out, because then the guy can't get a job. And then all of a sudden he's got an attorney, and the department or the employer gets sued. It's just, as much as I think it's a good idea, it's in our society right now, things like that can't take place, right, Charlie? I mean, you've worked for a big entity. What happens? Somebody does something wrong, and you can't even say anything about it.
Well, that's the point, though, Phil. I mean, if the cop is a bad guy that keeps injuring people and stuff like that, maybe he shouldn't be hired as a cop because he is doing stuff like that.
Yeah, but
he's a danger. He's a danger to the community and the welfare of the community. And that's what I was saying last night. And we don't have time to get into it again. But last night I was talking about the situation with the police unions. And the fact that they really, they should be able to negotiate, money, and they should be able to negotiate terms. But when it comes to this kind of thing, they should have to shut up, because this is in the community interest and community safety, and they should not enter into that kind of discussion. But
yeah, if the guy gets arrested and has a criminal record, it's really hard to.
Listen, it's much easier than you think. You simply have to change the culture of the police departments. Yeah. Anyway, that's it for tonight. We've run out of time. Boy, I'll tell you, this really works pretty well. You guys all like
I like
Yeah, Zoom. Okay, well, we'll continue to use it for a while, and then we can go back to Skype and remember how it was. You know, I mean, it's a lot easier. Plus, when somebody's talking and then you start talking, you can hear the other person interrupt you and talk to you. It doesn't like cut them down in audio. So that's why a lot of people would keep talking and not hear somebody else try to say something. But you see them, listen to them much better now. Anyway, that's it for tonight. I want to thank Brian Neary, and I want to thank Charlie Wallace and Phil Meyer and Scott Boddicker. Hey, good seeing you, Scott. Of course, Tony. Thank you so much, Jeff. Thank you, and thank you, Charlene. That's our panel for tonight. Give a big wave goodbye, and I'll wave back at you, okay? Because I like waving back. Okay, there they go. Okay, let me say goodbye to them. In fact, I will put an end to them by ending the meeting for all. Anyway, that's it for tonight. We'll be back. The Intersection is next with Jack Bishop. We'll be back again tomorrow night at 10:30 Eastern Daylight Time. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody. Have a nice night and stay safe.